viewers and subscribers. Welcome to another episode of this nameless channel. We still don't know which direction we're going, right, with this channel. So we are going to take our time, figure it out, and see what we can come up with in the not so distant future. Right now, listen to this, right? So here we are thinking we need to, I don't know, fix South Africa, right? And for some reason, there are people who are hell bent on not trying to fix South Africa. So, for example, is it right for foreign owned companies? I'm not talking about legacy companies, right? I am talking about individually owned companies by foreigners to get tenders in South Africa. Is that right? Let me know what you think about this topic in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know, we family, right? Holler. People, recently in Johannesburg, Joburg Mayor Kenny Kunene, I think, Kenny Kunene uncovered something shocking that even he couldn't believe it. He was totally shocked that a Nigerian national, even though the Home Affairs documents, records show that he's a naturalized citizen. Whoa, got awarded a hundred, a 194 million rand tender. Now look, let's all be honest, right? If I always say, right, the best the best person, the best company, the best organization, the best whatever must always get the contract. That's all I always say that. Always, right? That's what I believe, right? Best man must get the job. Best company. Best company must get the job. Oh, all the hooting you hear in the background, it's all free Palestine. So free Palestine, bruh. Free Palestine. People. So what I'm basically saying is the best company, the best individual, the best organization, the best whatever must get the job. And by getting the job, they must have a track record of finishing the job, right? Don't just give them the job. They must have a track record of excelling beyond what is expected or just doing what is expected of them. Then I think we are all fine, we're all good on that, right? So apparently, when was it? I can't remember the I can't remember the date of the year, but anyway, there was a time, right? There was an explosion on Bree Street in Johannesburg. An underground gas pipe exploded, right? There's footage on the internet showing this text is just being lifted and just thrown up, right? Guys, that was a serious thing. A few people got injured, if I'm not mistaken, because the cars were flipped over and damn, it was a massive explosion. It even cracked the road, right? Cracked the road in half. That tender to maintain the roads was given to a company by a company that is owned by I think a South African woman and a Nigerian man. You know, I don't understand how I don't understand how we can repeat the same mistakes. I don't understand how year after year wrong people get massive amounts of they get awarded tenders. I don't know if it, I don't know if the tender, the tenders board, the people that award the tenders, I don't know if they actually do any due diligence. I don't know if they actually go to the premises of these companies. I don't know if they actually go and see the work done by these companies, whether they actually, when the companies say, oh, we did this, we did that, I'm wondering if they even go to those places to go and see if those things were actually done. The shocking thing about this, guys, is that tender money is taxpayers' dollars going down the drain for people not doing what they were contracted to do. It feels like people. It feels like people are being paid to award contracts to certain people for tenders, and nothing gets done. I mean, we already seen it with the Estina dairy farm, right? We've seen it with the border fence already, right? We've seen it with so many other tender projects where nothing gets done, and it's a reoccurring theme in South Africa. Why is this, guys? So now I'm saying it's bad enough that our own people who own companies, we're thinking, okay, let's empower our own people, give them these tenders so that they can empower further other South Africans too, by creating jobs there. But uh, someone awards you, let's just give an example. Let's just say someone awards you R1 million tender. Now, in business terms, R1 million may not be a lot of money depending on the size of the company, depending what industry the company is, depending what the money is needed for. But in some other terms, for small businesses, it's a lot of money. Most small businesses don't even make R1 million, right? So if you had to give a small business R1 million, that's a massive, major boost, right? That person in turn, or that small company in turn, could create jobs for other people. And that's what tenders are kind of like, what the aim of the game, right? The bigger the tender, the bigger the job, the more employment should be created. Cool. So our own people are given these contracts, and then our own people don't even do the job. Now the foreigners see that, then they too apply for these tenders, and somehow they get them, right? And what do they see? Oh, they saw those people didn't do any job, so why should we? We should just apply for the tenders too, get it, do a few little things here and there, tap tap, and then what do? They jump, they book people. This is shocking. Like, I don't really understand how and why, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it really feels to me like we should we should have a look at who sits on the board, who actually does the approval of these tenders. You understand what I mean? We should actually have a look at it and see. There has to be a monitoring watchdog for these people that actually award the tenders, because there is some sort of fraudulent behavior, activity that's going on, because it does not make sense that you're telling me every single year, the same process, the same problems occur, and no one is doing anything to curb that. Guys, this is shocking. Come on. Now, okay, so let's do this, right? Let's look at another tender scandal. Two 20-year-olds. Guys, I don't know how this happened, guys. Two 20-year-olds. Now, for me, listen to this. I don't mind. The age is not the problem. Not at all. The age, dude, I don't care. You can be, dude, you can be 11. You can be 12. You can be 15 for all I care. If you can do the job, if you have a proven track record that you can do what you are applying for, then by all means, let's award tenders to 11-year-olds and 10-year-olds and get them to do what they're good at doing. Understand what I'm saying? If that's the case, you know, if an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, 18-year-old, if they can prove beyond reasonable doubt that they can erect the border fences, if they have the capacity to fix broken pipes and to do whatever, to fix all the underground cables, whatever it takes, whatever them, then if they're the best option, if they can prove beyond reasonable doubt that they've done this before, that they can show the world that they've done multiple projects and they were successful and they're still running and they're still whatever, let's award the tenders to the 11 and 12-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds. I don't care. The age isn't the issue. Now here's the thing. A company owned by two 20-something-year-old guys from the Eastern Cape, they get awarded a water tender, water supply tender. What they call it, the water tender. These guys didn't have their company didn't have the capacity to supply the needed amount of tanks for Gauteng. What they were intending on doing is contracting a much larger company that was sanctioned, that was not allowed to do business with the government, and that was their plan along the whole time. So my whole thing is, the person who issued the tender to these two 20-something-year-olds, did they not do their due diligence and see that, whoa, these guys, their company only has X amount of tanks, right? They do not meet the minimum requirement of tanks to supply the entire Gauteng, right? For the entire Joburg. Joburg was Joburg. Rand Water was Rand Water. I think Rand Water, if I'm not mistaken, it was Rand Water that issued out that tender or something like that, right? And then there's this company called Aqua something that was, I don't know, there's like a red flag that they're not supposed to do business with the city or something like that. But these two 20 something year olds, I don't think they knew that. So, but then they said that they were going to subcontract that contract to this sanctioned company. I mean, guys, come on, come on, come on. How can we move the country forward when there are people who are messing up the basics, the fundamentals of what it takes to move a country forward? I mean, at the end of the day, bruh, we have to do something about it. If we, the citizens, don't rise up and do something about it, then I promise you, if we leave it to the people that we elect into office, nothing's going to be done, because at the end of the day, it feels like and it seems like brown envelopes are actually being exchanged behind closed doors. Now, we do not have proof, we do not have facts, we do not have anything to show that there are brown envelopes being exchanged. But the way people are moving, the way people are operating, it is as if brown envelopes are being exchanged behind closed doors. And that is a sad, sad reality. If that is the case, please explain to me this. How is it possible that a person who cannot swim, this is hypothetical, right? Hypothetical. How is it possible that a person who cannot swim, right? If you can't swim, it means you cannot save a life or another life, because you can't save your own life because you can't swim. So if you can't swim, how is it possible that you are employed or you are elected or you are selected to be a lifeguard? How? So that's the same scenario. If you or your company cannot meet the minimum requirements to take on a given task, how is it possible that you get to be awarded the tender, the contract to execute said task, even though you do not meet the minimum requirements? How is that possible? Please tell me. How? So it's painful. It feels like every time I'm recording a video, it almost feels like it's just doom and gloom in South Africa. That's just the way it feels like. And I'm not saying it's all doom and gloom. Trust me, South Africa, like I always say, is a beautiful country. For me, South Africa is the most beautiful country in the entire world. I don't care who says what. They can tell me about America, Britain, Russia, Switzerland, all those places. The one thing they cannot tell me is that during all those winter months and whatever it is, those places are not beautiful at all. I don't care how beautiful New York is in the summer. Come winter time, nope, it's all snowed out. Nothing beautiful there. Now, winter in Cape Town, come. I know it may not be as pleasant, but trust me, it's not as bad as those other places that get snowed in. Understand what I mean? How many of those how many of those countries that I just named above get to have summer sunny Christmases? How many? Most of them have cold winter Christmases. Do you know how frustrating it is to celebrate one of the biggest holidays in the world in thick blankets covered in Jesus Christ? Now I must say something, right? South Africa, being the best country in the world, does not have everything, but it is sufficient for the people who live here. We are happy with what we have. Can we get more? Yes. Can we do more? Yes. But the bare minimum that we have is more than what most people could actually ask for. Most countries in Africa dream of the lifestyle, just even of just the environment, right? Just the atmosphere, just the geographical location, just the economic um, power. What we in South Africa feel are letdowns. Other countries dream of these things. You understand what I mean? So, as South Africans, we are blessed to be doing all this rubbish that we do as South Africans. I'm talking about burning down malls, burning down infrastructure, burning down. Other countries don't have that luxury because they know if they lose it, it's gone forever. There's no rebuilding, nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So we still need to treasure, and we still really need to value what we have. We need to actually understand that what we have now may not always be rebuilt once we once it's been burned down. We need to learn that because one day, the way things are going, there'll be no finances left for us to build whatever we've destroyed, and that all begins with the whole tender processes. If we cannot respect the tender processes, if we cannot follow the guidelines, if we cannot award the right tenders to the right people to build the country to what we want it to be, then they are part of the problem, and then they are too part of the destruction. Let me know what you think about this video. Was I on the money or did I totally miss it with this one? Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know, we family, right? Holler.